Monday marked the deadline for North Dakota school students to get vaccinated.
This week in Fargo and West Fargo, 60 students were told they could not come to class because they were not up to date on their shots. Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz explains the requirements.
Ashley T. has two young kids in a private Fargo preschool. They both have the required vaccines for enrollment. But Ashley says she still worries when others don't.
So often people saying, well, if you're pro-vaccination, you shouldn't have a problem because your kids have vaccines. That's not always the case. I'm very pro-vaccine, but I have an 8-month-old child who can't have the MMR vaccine yet. He's not old enough.
And that's why North Dakota law mandates all students get vaccinated. According to Century Code 330605, children must receive immunizations required by the Department of Health in order to be admitted into school. The law sets a deadline of October 1st. Fargo Public School Superintendent Rupak Gandhi says they gave plenty of notice before the cutoff date.
We had taken multiple efforts to communicate with parents beforehand and let them know that if they don't have their vaccine by October 1st and starting October 2nd, per state statute, that they wouldn't be included.
Nancy Leith oversees school nurses in Cass County. She says within this area, vaccine days are no longer offered in school. But
we do immunizations here at Public Health, and we did increase the days that we offered immunizations, primarily in the month of August, trying to end the first part of September to help accommodate the increased demand.
Still, not everyone made it by deadline. Between Fargo and West Fargo schools, a total of 60 kids were asked not to come in until they got their vaccinations. The school says most parents don't do this intentionally. In fact, even though 18 students in Fargo had missed school in the beginning of October, I'm told that just a couple days later, only 4 still have yet to be immunized. And in West Fargo, 48 students were out on October 1st. Now, the schools tell me, every single one of them is back in school. Now, North Dakota law does allow some exemptions.
Some kids just cannot have a vaccine, and I respect that.
But for those not included in those groups, Nurse Nancy Leith says it's important not to add to the number of unvaccinated.
If 95% of that community is vaccinated, they are protecting the complete herd. So it's just to everyone's advantage to have more people immunized.
In Fargo, Rose Itzkovitz, Valley News Live.
We also reached out to the Moorhead School District to find out how they handle students without vaccination records. We're told Minnesota state law is different and doesn't have a specific date for when vaccines are due, but it still does require them for enrollment. The school tells us that their nursing staff follows up with families who still need to send records or exemption forms, but doesn't exclude them from coming in.